Did you know that it's not uncommon to become insulin resistant, get prediabetes, and overall have imbalanced blood sugar when you start to get to your mid 40s as a woman? Let's talk about the fluctuations that can happen with perimenopause blood sugars and what you can do about it. Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Meyer. I am a board certified family and functional medicine doctor and a registered dietitian. And I have my own functional practice where I work, functional medicine practice, where I work with women and men. And I often see blood sugar increase in women, men too, but women in their mid to late 40s and into their 50s, the same time that perimenopause is starting. So that's why we're talking about blood sugar balance in perimenopause today. And on this channel, I do focus a lot on hormone balance and menopause and perimenopause. So it's beyond like the swings. And you do have a lot of blood sugar swings. Let's talk about how we can get it steady, make your moods feel less wobbly, get that weight creeping up around the middle, taken care of or worked on, and talk about how blood sugar can be a part of this whole picture. So we're not looking for perfection. We're just looking for balance, a better energy, calmer blood sugar, more balanced moods, and long-term protection from diabetes and heart disease. So here's what we're going to cover. Hormones, what hormones do to blood sugar in perimenopause, what and when to eat for steadier glucose, and how movement can help, stress management can help, and self-care can help, as well as hydration and how sleep fits into, and whether a continuous glucose monitor can help. We'll also talk about supplements that may help support you and how to spot low blood sugar versus a hot flash. Perimenopause often starts in your 40s, as I mentioned above. You start with cycles getting irregular, estrogen, progesterone fluctuate, and they start to trend down. So estrogen isn't just a period hormone. It can help your cells respond to insulin, so it really can relate to that blood sugar. And as estrogen starts to decline throughout perimenopause, insulin sensitivity can drop too. So that means our glucose has a harder time getting into our cells. Our blood sugar starts to run higher, even if our diet hasn't changed. If we're still doing the same things we used to do, we can have glucose spikes and crashes that can make our hot flashes and our night sweats worse and make the irritability worse and our sleep issues worse. All of that can also impact the weight gain that we can have around the abdomen. So the loop goes both ways, though. Unstable blood sugar then worsens our symptoms, and symptoms post the poor sleep make glucose harder to control and blood sugar harder to control. So let's use some knowledge to break up that loop if we can, to break that loop. So what can we do? Two levers that matter the most for our food and nutrition when it comes to blood sugar are how you structure your meals and how you balance your carbs. So macros and balanced macros can help slow glucose absorption and keep us fuller, longer, and calm our cravings. So a protein forward, high fiber, insulin sensitive meal earlier, a bigger meal earlier in the day with more carbs at breakfast, less at lunch, and less at dinner, especially after 4, can really help our blood sugar. And let's talk about so basically we want more carbs in the morning, moderate in the middle of the day, and less in the evening. I have all of this on my perimenopause.help blog. I'm going to give you some specific meal ideas, and those are on the blog too. I also have a free PDF. I'll put the link in the description. That'll give you some menu ideas of as far as how to balance those macros and get some stable blood sugar. So easy breakfast, to give you an example, or like a veggie omelet with avocado and berries. You could do plain Greek yogurt with chia or walnuts, or chia and walnuts, or hemp and strawberries, and put a little almond butter, even a little bit of honey on there. Or some savory quinoa that's high in fiber with spinach and mushroom topped on it and an egg on there, maybe a little avocado and a little bit of olive oil. And I often see women not eating enough at breakfast, so focus on more protein at breakfast. Lunch, you can have grilled salmon over greens with roasted chickpeas and tahini, lemon dressing. You could have turkey lettuce wrap with avocado and a side of roasted sweet potato for a nice slow carb, or a Mediterranean bowl that has hummus, farro or quinoa on that, some red peppers, some cucumbers, a little bit of feta, some olives. Dinner ideas, you could go with chicken stir fry with broccoli, a little bit of peppers and sesame oil, maybe a little bit of cashews, and some cauliflower rice instead of regular rice. You could do shrimp or some kind of seafood with zucchini noodles instead of regular noodles, and pesto plus some tomatoes or veggie. or you could do some beef and lentil stew with some carrots and celery. So try bone broth and herbs in it. Try to leave out those carbs or keep them after 4 to be like 15 grams or less. If, like I said, if you need to, I don't know if I said this, but if you need to snack, make it a low carb snack at night too, and try not to snack at night. So 15 grams of carb or less after 4 p.m. is a good idea. Better to have the snacks earlier in the afternoon, like apple slices with almond butter or hard-boiled egg with some pistachios and cucumber slices. You could do cottage cheese with ground flaxseed and raspberries. Or some people like beef jerky and some carrots and guacamole or some hummus. But these are just some ideas. And so remember, I talk about fiber. Fiber is really important. Fiber is our best friend during perimenopause and menopause. Think vegetables first: broccoli, cauliflower, leafy greens, Brussels sprouts, and then add some other high fiber options into your diet: lentils, chickpeas, chia, flax, berries. Look at your labels. Read those labels like I've talked about on the channel. So 1 gram of fiber for every 10 grams of carbs. And the closer you can get to 5 to 1 on 5 grams of carbs to 1 gram of fiber is even better. So those plants and those berries and those avocado and the seeds and the quality proteins, those are all very important. Like I gave you those ideas, I do have them in the blog and on the PDF. A gentle overnight 12 to 14 overnight fast, 12 to 14 hours can really help our blood sugar balance too. And trying to maybe stop eating around 7 o'clock at night and then don't start again until between 7 and 9 in the morning. See how you're feeling. That can really help our insulin sensitivity. Now, if you're prone to low blood sugar, underweight, or trying to gain weight, definitely talk to your provider about this because it might not be right for you to do any kind of, well, you got to do some kind of a fast, but not a longer fast. And then let's talk about blood sugar monitors. So I used continuous glucose monitors quite a bit in my practice to give us real-time feedback and see how your body responds to meals and stress and sleep. You don't have to have diabetes to use one of these. You can just use one direct. You can get it through your clinician, but a lot of times insurance doesn't cover it, or you can get a direct consumer program. And I'll put some links in the description on those because those can be a little hard to find sometimes. So even just one monitor with 2 weeks of data can really help teach you and your provider how you handle certain foods. And then remember about movement. So moving your body is really important. We want metabolically active muscles. So like even just 30 minutes of a workout covering all major muscle groups can really help our blood sugar balance, as well as 30 minutes of walking, swimming, cycling, some kind of, gentle cardio can really help. Getting up every hour and getting a couple hundred steps in can be helpful. A nighttime routine like yoga and Pilates, or just even short intervals of some kind of not too high intensity exercise are really going to help balance our blood sugar. You'll see a difference if you use a continuous blood glucose monitor and check that. And let's talk about stress. So stress elevates our cortisol. Cortisol raises our blood sugar, makes us more insulin resistant, increases our cravings. So it's really important to get some stress management tools into your life. Build a daily stress circuit breaker, break the cycle. 5 minutes of breath work or meditation, a brief walk outside, maybe journal your feelings for a few minutes every day, saying what you're grateful for. Some kind of predictable wind down routine at night is important. Getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep and setting healthy boundaries. Remember, it's okay to say no. All those can be very, very helpful. Being hydrated can be very, very helpful. Aim for 5 to 10 cups of water, or like half your body weight in fluid is a great goal. So half your body weight in ounces of water, up to 100 ounces. That's a good rule of thumb. You can use herbal teas and sparkling water and infused water to help meet that goal too. You can try checking your blood sugar and using these patterns and seeing how it helps. Sweet tooth. So sweet tooth cravings and sugar cravings are really, really common during perimenopause and menopause. So let's have a strategy for that. At your meals, lead with protein and fat first. Do the carb at the end. If you have a sweet craving for chocolate, try a dark chocolate. Work your way up to 70%, even up to like 85% or higher. Eat berries instead of a higher sugar fruit. Keep your trigger foods out of the house too. Like keep those snack foods, those high sugar, low fiber crappy foods out of the house so that you are not, if you're tired or had a bad night because of perimenopause or menopause or anything else, you're not going to the cabinet and getting those foods. And, consider if you feel low blood sugar, maybe it is your sleep or your stress. So work on those. Balance those those meals, like I said, with lots of protein, fiber, and veggies. So keep your meal times consistent too and steady and bigger in the morning, moderate at lunch, and lighter in the evening. Now, what about supplements? I get asked about supplements quite a bit, and there are supplements that can support, but do the food and lifestyle changes first and have those in place. You can think about magnesium, which can help your insulin function. Chromium, picoline in particular, or gluconate is helpful. Vitamin D can help our insulin resistance, and alpha lipoic acid is a really helpful supplement for handling blood sugar. I have more info on these in particular in my blog. Berberine is something I use all the time for perimenopause and high blood sugar. It also helps your cholesterol too. But you want to check with your doctor before you start any of these. And I do have a full video on berberine and how it measures up to metformin, the blood sugar medicine. So I'll put that in the description because I go into more detail on that. And then I'll put my blog link in the description. So yes, berberine is one of the keys for helping blood sugar if you need a supplement. So you can also go to a functional medicine doctor, an integrative doctor, a doctor that's trained in midlife medicine to help you with these hormone patterns, to help you with your metabolism changes, and to help you look at your blood sugar. So let's recap what we said here. So perimenopause changes how our body handles blood sugar. Insulin resistance is much more common. Make sure you build your plate with healthy protein, healthy fat. Eat that first, carbs last. Make sure your carbs are fiber rich. You could try a gentle 12 to 14 hour overnight fast. That could help. Make sure you're lifting weights a couple times, 2 or 3 times a week, walking or doing cardio daily, sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, and not snacking late at night. You can start to use some targeted supplements. That sounds like a lot of changes. So start with one and just have it stack one on top of the other. You don't need to take notes on this video. Everything's in my blog. And if you want the free PDF, I'll put the link in the description too. I appreciate you all being part of this community and watching these videos. Please share it if you feel like you have a friend or family member that could benefit from this information. I, again, appreciate you being here. Welcome your kind comments, the mean ones. Not a big fan of, but I know that happens. But anyway, I thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.